Welcome to The Value Shot. I'm Jeffrey D. Brown, publisher and editor of Guitar Business World. Now, these 16 original episodes were featured at the back of the show on Guitar Business Radio, where I talked about some basic foundational building blocks that you can use to help drive your business or career to the next level. Those segments have now been edited and repackaged for presentation here on GBW. They're short and full of simple but really powerful ideas you can put to use right now. I suggest listening to them in sequence to get the most out of them. So let's get to it. Continuing our discussion about taking your business or career to the next level, I talked about implementing your vision and outlined some behavioral characteristics that I believe are critical to the process. Those characteristics are attitude, focus, and knowledge. And in our last episode, I explained my 3 elements of knowledge, and they are skills, resources, and experience. And remember, this is how I see it. I know there are many divergent thoughts and opinions on these topics out there, but I'm giving you this information in what I would say is designed to be foundational in nature, meaning that they are building blocks upon which additional ideas and methodologies are built on. So it's really important that I keep this stuff simple at this point, because it is, and it's always easier to learn and integrate into your thinking if you so choose. Now, I also hinted in my discussion about knowledge that I would soon be talking about leveraging it, and that's what I'm going to do today in terms of the basics. And by the way, if you've possibly had the sense that all of this information I've been giving you so far feels a bit like an outline, well, your instincts are correct. That's exactly what it is. And down the road, I'll be making that available along with much more on this subject, and we'll let you know about that. So what about this business of leveraging your knowledge to help bring your vision to life in one form or another? Well, first, what does the term leveraging mean here? In our case, I think of it as adding, compounding, or multiplying the value of your knowledge in tangible ways to produce positive outcomes for your business or career. So I would look at leverage as it applies to each of my elements of knowledge, again, skills, resources, and experience. And within each of those elements, I divide them into 2 categories, internal and external. So let's start looking at it with that structure in mind. First off, let's talk about skills. On the internal side, from my perspective, one of the most important and often one of the most difficult things to manage is the prioritization of your skills. In other words, which of your skills produce the most positive results? Can you answer that question? It may take a little thought, but invest the time and write it out. Make a chart or a grid or a spreadsheet if that helps, but anything that makes it clear to you. The benefits of this should be obvious. Too many people spend too much of their time doing things that don't produce good results. I've seen it a lot, and I'm guilty of it myself. But before I go any further on that, let me clarify something. I'm talking about making priority decisions that have the most direct and positive effect on your business or career. I'm not necessarily talking about making choices of the heart, which may refer to something that you're highly skilled at, or passionate about, or just love doing. Sometimes those things can represent longer-term time investments that may contribute to a good business-related outcome down the road, but they may simply take you out of service for a period of time in the short run. So that's another decision you have to make. And it's not to say that you can't do both. You have to figure that out. So does it sound to you like there are some aspects of time management involved here? Probably so. Unfortunately, when the subject of time management comes up, and it's a really, really big topic, most people cringe at least a little bit. And I'm not really going to get into that here today, but prioritizing your skills, probably by the very nature of it, requires some time management by default. But I can tell you this. The more you understand the relationship between your skills and your business or professional outcomes, the more likely it will be that you can effectively apply those skills in the process. Of course, the more skills you have, the more difficult it may be. And frankly, I'm one of those people, and this is a challenge I have to deal with on a regular basis. You know, there really isn't much in my business in terms of the daily activities and functionality that I can't do and do fairly well. On top of that, I love what I do in the pure sense. The only time that is diminished is if I happen to be working with a difficult client. And that doesn't happen very often, thankfully. When it does, there's only one solution: lose the client. But if you're one of those multi-skilled people yourself, and I imagine many of you are, The challenge is to understand the priorities and be disciplined enough to think it through and make decisions that will ultimately help move your vision forward. Now, how about the external applications? This is a little different. Here I'm referring to using your skills through interaction with an external entity of some kind. Usually that's another company or an organization, but it could be an individual as well. These interactions may involve contractual applications, strategic partnerships or relationships, or other kinds of transactional activities. The possibilities may seem endless, and probably they are, but the questions we need to answer have some similarity to our previous discussion. You need to understand which of your skills have the most value external to your own business, and that may involve understanding some market needs and interests, or the needs and interests of a specific entity. When you pair those two things together, it should become much clearer to you where the potential opportunities may exist. This is a straightforward exercise, but it does require some thought and effort. Although what meaningful thing doesn't? The good news is that when you take the time to understand even these basic ideas I've given you here today, you'll be in a much better position to leverage your knowledge and take your business or career to the next level. And in the next episode of GBR, we'll continue this discussion as we talk about leveraging the second element of knowledge, and that is resources. I hope you'll join us for that. And remember, if you have any questions or thoughts on any of this, reach out. There are many ways to communicate with us, and I love to hear from you. As always, continue to stay positive. Keep focusing on that destination, and make sure that all the options remain open on how you're going to get there. Well, I hope you got some value from that, but I do want to emphasize again the need to listen in sequence. And just so you know, there are brand new episodes of The Value Shot on the way, so be sure you're subscribed to Guitar Business World here on Substack to get those as well as new editorial features and valuable resources. As always, we love to hear from you with questions or thoughts. You can contact us directly at guitarbusiness@substack.com. guitarbusiness@substack.com. I'm Jeffrey D. Brown. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.